Calcium is the most abundant mineral in the human body, and about 99% of it is stored in your bones and teeth, but that's not its only job. Calcium is also essential for blood clotting, muscle contraction, and nerve signaling throughout the body. Here's something most people don't realize: your skeleton isn't a fixed, finished structure. It's quietly being broken down and rebuilt your entire life, with calcium constantly moving between your bones and your bloodstream to keep everything in balance. It was first isolated as an element by chemist Humphrey Davy in 1808, and it works closely alongside vitamin D, which helps your body actually absorb it. That constant rebuilding process is also why calcium intake matters across an entire lifetime, not just during childhood. Bone density gradually established in your 20s and 30s becomes the foundation your body draws from for decades afterward. Iron's main job is carrying oxygen through your bloodstream, embedded directly inside hemoglobin, the molecule that gives red blood cells their color. There are two forms in food: heme iron, found in meat, and non-heme iron, found in plants, and your body absorbs them at noticeably different rates. Iron deficiency is remarkably the single most common nutrient deficiency on the entire planet, frequently leading to anemia and fatigue when levels run low. Interestingly, your body's quite good at recycling the iron it already has, breaking down old red blood cells and reusing much of that iron rather than needing a constant fresh supply. Vitamin C also meaningfully boosts how well non-heme, plant-based iron gets absorbed, which is part of why a squeeze of lemon over spinach isn't just a flavor choice. It's genuinely improving nutrient uptake. Sodium regulates fluid balance throughout your body and is essential for nerve impulses and muscle function. It's also one of the oldest traded commodities in human history, with entire ancient trade routes built around salt. Here's the twist for most people today, though: the overwhelming majority of dietary sodium doesn't come from the salt shaker at all. It comes from processed and packaged foods, often in quantities most people don't realize they're consuming. Chemist Humphrey Davy also first isolated sodium as an element in 1807, and public health campaigns worldwide now focus specifically on reducing excess intake rather than deficiency, since most people already get plenty. It's a genuinely unusual position for an essential nutrient to be in, one where the public health message has almost completely flipped from "make sure you get enough" to "watch how much you're getting." Potassium helps keep your heartbeat steady and supports normal muscle function, working as a kind of counterbalance to sodium across every cell membrane in your body. Here's a genuinely surprising fact: potatoes and beans actually contain more potassium than bananas do, despite bananas' famous reputation as the potassium food. Your kidneys carefully regulate potassium levels, since both too little and too much can disrupt your heart's normal rhythm. And despite how commonly it's discussed, a meaningful share of people worldwide still don't quite meet recommended daily levels. That's largely because the richest sources, leafy greens, potatoes, beans, simply aren't eaten as often as more processed, lower potassium alternatives in a lot of modern diets. Magnesium acts as a helper molecule for an enormous range of processes, involved in more than 300 different enzyme reactions throughout the body, including converting food into usable energy and helping muscles relax after they contract. Over half of your body's magnesium is stored in your bones, working closely alongside calcium. One thing worth knowing: modern farming practices have measurably reduced the magnesium content of many crops over time, which is part of why a meaningful share of people today don't get quite enough from diet alone. Magnesium and calcium also share an interesting relationship. Too much of one can actually interfere with how well your body regulates the other, which is part of why balance across your overall diet matters more than maximizing any single mineral in isolation. Phosphorus is the second most abundant mineral in your body, right after calcium, with about 85% of it stored in your bones and teeth. But it also plays a completely different role at the same time. Phosphorus is a core component of ATP, the molecule every cell in your body uses to store and release energy, and it's literally part of the structural backbone of your own DNA. It was first discovered all the way back in 1669, making it one of the earliest elements ever isolated, and today it's genuinely easy to get enough of, since it's added to many processed foods as a preservative, sometimes in larger amounts than people realize. That abundance means phosphorus deficiency is genuinely rare in most parts of the world, which is somewhat unusual compared to several other minerals on this list. Zinc supports your immune system and is required by more than 300 different enzymes, playing a role in everything from wound healing to your senses of taste and smell. Its importance in humans was only formally identified in the 1960s through landmark studies in the Middle East that linked zinc deficiency to slowed growth and development in children. It's why zinc lozenges became a popular cold remedy, though scientific support for that specific use remains genuinely mixed. Taking too much zinc as a supplement can also interfere with how the body absorbs copper, another essential trace mineral, which is a good reminder that more isn't automatically better once basic needs are already being met. Iodine is essential for producing thyroid hormone, which regulates your metabolism, and severe deficiency can cause the thyroid gland to visibly enlarge, a condition called goiter. In 1917, physician David Marine ran a landmark trial giving iodine supplements to schoolgirls in Akron, Ohio, and the results were striking enough to help drive the introduction of iodized salt across Michigan in 1924. Within a few decades, goiter rates in the region dropped by over 90%. It remains one of public health's quietest, most successful victories, even though iodine deficiency is still a leading preventable cause of developmental problems in parts of the world today. And selenium might have the strangest origin story of any mineral on this list. It was first discovered in 1817 by chemist Jöns Jakob Berzelius, who identified it as a toxic substance poisoning workers at a sulfuric acid plant. It took decades before scientists recognized selenium as an essential nutrient rather than simply a poison. Today, it's understood as a key component of the body's antioxidant defense system, and Brazil nuts contain so much of it that a single nut can provide more than an entire day's recommended amount. Selenium deficiency was also central to solving Caisson disease, a serious heart condition first identified in China in 1935 and later traced directly to selenium poor soil in the affected regions.